Let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself when you answer it. If nothing changes in the next 5 years, if you keep living exactly the way you're living right now, doing exactly what you're doing right now, thinking exactly the way you're thinking right now, are you excited about where that leads? Or is there a knot in your stomach telling you that something has to change? If there's a knot in your stomach right now, good, that's not a bad sign. That's the first sign of life waking back up inside you. And before we go any further, do me a favor. Down in the comments, tell me where you're watching this from. I want to know what city, what country, what part of the world is waking up right along with you today. Because what I'm about to share with you is for anybody, anywhere, who is ready to stop sleepwalking through their own life. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Most people are not living. They are simply existing. They wake up, they go through the motions, they do the job, they scroll the phone, they eat the dinner, they watch the show, they go to sleep, and they do it again tomorrow. And somewhere along the way, without ever making a decision about it, they stop growing, they stop dreaming, they stop believing that their life could look different than it does right now. And the saddest part is, most of them don't even realize it's happened. They've just gotten comfortable in the sleep. I want to talk to you today about waking up. Not the kind of waking up your alarm clock does for you every morning. I'm talking about waking up on the inside. Waking up to the fact that you have one life, one shot, one chance to build something you're proud of, and that clock is running whether you're paying attention or not. Time doesn't wait for you to get serious. Time doesn't pause while you figure out your excuses. Time just keeps moving. And one day you look up and years have gone by, and you're left wondering where they went and why you have so little to show for them. Now, here's the good news, and I mean this with everything in me. It doesn't matter how long you've been asleep. It doesn't matter how many years you've wasted, how many opportunities you've let slip by, how many times you've started and quit and started again. None of that matters the moment you decide to wake up. The past is not a life sentence, it's a lesson. And the moment you stop using it as an excuse and start using it as information, everything begins to change. Let's talk about why people fall asleep in their own lives in the first place. Because if you understand the cause, you can understand the cure. People fall asleep because comfort is seductive. Comfort whispers to you every single day. It tells you, you don't have to push today. You can rest. You've earned a break. Tomorrow is soon enough. And on any single day, that voice sounds reasonable. But stack up enough of those days, one on top of another, month after month, year after year, and you've built an entire life out of small surrenders. Nobody ever decides in one dramatic moment to waste their life. It happens in 1,000 quiet moments of choosing comfort over growth, ease over effort, the couch over the climb. People also fall asleep because of fear. Fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of trying hard and falling short in front of everybody who's watching. So instead of trying and risking the sting of failure, they just stop trying altogether, and they tell themselves a story that makes that surrender feel okay. They say things like, I'm just not that ambitious, or that's not really my thing, or I'm happy with a simple life. Now understand, there is nothing wrong with a simple life if that's truly what lights you up inside. But if you're honest with yourself, and I mean really honest, sometimes that story isn't truth, it's a shield. It's a way to protect yourself from the discomfort of reaching for something and possibly missing it. And then there's the third reason people fall asleep. And this one's sneaky, because it hides behind something that looks like responsibility. People get so consumed by obligations, by bills, by the demands of daily survival, that they convince themselves there simply isn't room for growth. They tell themselves, once things settle down, once I get through this season, once the kids are older, once the job gets easier, then I'll start focusing on my dreams again. But here's what I've learned after watching thousands of people live out their lives. Things rarely settle down on their own. If you wait for the perfect season to wake up, you will wait your entire life, because life has a way of always presenting a new reason to stay comfortable, stay small, stay asleep. So let's talk about what it actually looks like to wake up, because I don't want to leave you with just a feeling. I want to leave you with a path. The first step in waking up is brutal honesty. You have to sit down, maybe alone, maybe with a notebook, and take an honest look at your life exactly as it stands today. not the version you post online, not the version you tell your friends at dinner, the real version. Your finances, your health, your relationships, your habits, your daily routine. Write it down without flinching, without softening it, without making excuses for it, because you cannot rebuild something you refuse to look at honestly. The blueprint for your new life starts with an honest inventory of your current one. The second step is really deciding that enough is enough. Understand, wishing is not deciding. Hoping is not deciding. A real decision is a cutting off of all other possibilities. It means you stop entertaining the idea of staying the same. It means the pain of staying where you are finally becomes greater than the fear of changing. And when that shift happens inside you, something remarkable occurs. You stop looking for reasons to wait and start looking for ways to move. The third step is rebuilding your habits one at a time, because your life right now is nothing more than the sum of your daily habits repeated over years. You didn't end up here overnight, and you won't rebuild overnight either. But here's the encouraging part. Small changes, repeated consistently, compound into massive transformation. You don't need to overhaul your entire life in one day. You need to win the next 24 hours, then win the day after that. Stack enough good days together, and eventually you look up and you don't recognize the person you used to be. Start with your mornings, because how you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you wake up and immediately reach for your phone, immediately drown yourself in other people's opinions and other people's highlight reels, you are starting your day reactive instead of intentional. Instead, wake up and give yourself even 15 minutes that belong to nobody but you and your goals. Read something that sharpens your mind. Move your body. Write down what you actually want to accomplish today. That 15 minutes, repeated daily, will do more for your transformation than any single dramatic gesture ever could. Next, look at your circle, because who you spend your time with will either pull you towards your new life or drag you back into your old one. I'm not telling you to abandon people who love you, but I am telling you to pay close attention to whose voice you're allowing the most access to your mind. If the people around you mock your ambitions, laugh at your goals, or constantly pull you back toward mediocrity, you have to start protecting your dreams from their doubt. Sometimes waking up means outgrowing certain rooms, certain conversations, certain relationships that were built for the person you used to be, not the person you're becoming. Next, get serious about your health, because your body is the vehicle that carries every single dream you have. You can have all the ambition in the world, but if you're neglecting your body, if you're running on no sleep, poor food, no movement, you are trying to build a mansion on a foundation of sand. Waking up means finally respecting your body enough to fuel it properly, move it regularly, and rest it adequately. This isn't about becoming obsessed with appearance. It's about becoming a person capable of sustaining the energy your new life is going to demand from you. Next, get honest about your finances. So many people are sleepwalking through their money, spending without awareness, avoiding their bank statements because looking at the numbers feels uncomfortable. But rebuilding your life requires you to face those numbers directly. Know exactly where you stand. Build a plan, even if it's a small one at first, to spend less than you earn, to save something, to invest in your future self instead of only your present comfort. Financial waking up isn't about becoming wealthy overnight. It's about becoming a person who is finally awake to where their money is going and why. Now let's talk about something deeper. Because rebuilding your life isn't only about habits and routines. It's about rebuilding your identity. See, most people are still living according to an old identity, a version of themselves that was shaped by past failures, past disappointments, past labels other people put on them. Somebody told you once that you weren't smart enough, or talented enough, or disciplined enough. And somewhere along the way, you accepted that label as truth, and you've been living inside that small box ever since. Waking up means you have to consciously, deliberately reject the old labels that no longer serve who you're becoming. You are not who you were 5 years ago unless you choose to be. You get to decide right now who you are and who you're building yourself into. Let me tell you something about pain, because pain plays a strange and important role in waking up. Most people don't change until the pain of staying the same becomes unbearable. That's simply human nature. We are creatures of comfort, and we will tolerate a mediocre life far longer than we should, right up until the moment the discomfort becomes too loud to ignore. If you're feeling that discomfort right now, that restlessness, that quiet dissatisfaction with how things are going, don't run from it. Don't numb it with distraction. Let it do its job. Let it wake you up. That discomfort is not your enemy. It's the alarm clock ringing on the inside, telling you it's time to get up and build something better. I also want you to understand that rebuilding your life is not a straight line. There will be days you fall back asleep, days you slip back into old habits, days the comfort calls you back and you answer. That doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're human. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is direction. As long as you keep waking yourself back up every time you drift, as long as you keep choosing growth over comfort, more often than not, you are moving forward, even on the days it doesn't feel like it. I want you to picture your life 5 years from now if you commit to waking up starting today. Picture the version of you that finally took control of their mornings, their health, their finances, their relationships. Picture that person standing tall, clear-eyed, full of energy, proud of the way they're spending their days. That person is available to you, not through some overnight miracle, but through the accumulation of daily decisions to stay awake, to keep pushing, to refuse the comfortable sleep that so many people around you have already surrendered to. And I want you to also picture the other path, the one where nothing changes, where you keep hitting snooze on your own potential year after year. Picture yourself 5 years from now, having made no changes at all, still telling yourself the same excuses, still waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. That picture should scare you a little bit. It should, because that fear, used correctly, is fuel. Let it push you instead of paralyze you. Rebuilding your life starts with a single decision, made today, right now, in this very moment. Not tomorrow, not Monday, not after the holidays, right now. Decide that you are done sleepwalking through the only life you're ever going to get. Decide that your dreams deserve more than the leftover energy you've been giving them after everything else in your day is finished. Decide that you would rather try and risk failing than spend another 5 years wondering what could have happened if you had finally woken up. So here's my challenge to you today. Pick one area of your life, just one, where you know you've been asleep. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your finances. Maybe it's a dream you buried years ago because somebody told you it wasn't realistic. Pick that one area and take one honest, uncomfortable step toward waking it back up today. Not next week, today. Because the life you want is not going to arrive on its own. It is built decision by decision, morning by morning, by someone who finally got tired of sleeping through their own potential. Wake up. Rebuild your life. Not because someone else is demanding it from you, but because deep down, you already know you were made for more than the version of life you've been settling for. The alarm has already gone off. The only question left is whether you're going to hit snooze one more time, or whether today is finally the day you get up. Now, before you go, tell me down in the comments where you're watching this from. And tell me the one area of your life you're deciding to wake up in starting today. I want to see it. I want to see how many people around the world are choosing right now, in this very moment, to stop sleeping and start building. And if this message reached you today, share it with somebody you know is still hitting snooze on their own life. Because sometimes all a person needs is to hear that it's not too late, that the past doesn't decide the future, and that today really can be the day everything changes.